Welcome to our grand finale on WeQ and intergenerational collaboration. Let's delve into what we have left to say about the topic, at least for now. What makes us different and what unites us? We've been talking about the generational impact that we are faced with due to our formative years and what we might value and how we view ourselves and others and, the planet and all these aspects here. But it's also about the things that unite us. And in order to figure that one out, it is important to be open-minded and not put each other into boxes according to age or nationality or, what kind of degree we might bring to the table, and to have respect and appreciation for one another. That is really, really important. So how can we now then maybe improve in each of these areas? And I want to look at 3 of these aspects together with you in a little bit more detail, and then I will finish with giving you an overview of ideas for all 7. Okay, let's see which 3 I chose. The first one I want to look at is the idea of values, and the WeQ values or attitudes are maybe not directly connected to modern agile, but what we figure is that they are an excellent example to show how certain values or attitudes have an immense impact on how we then will be able to collaborate. And the 4 aspects of modern agile are really 4 of my favorites in the area of values and attitudes. So what are they? Let's have a look at that. The first one is make people awesome. And I we could maybe stop there. If we considered everything we do with view to what effect it has on others and whether it actually pays into this value to make people awesome. I mean, we have to agree maybe what makes a person awesome, and I'm not promoting any cultural change here that we all now just call each other awesome all the time. That's not what this is. The awesomeness of one another is something that maybe gets lost in the process because we maybe see each other not always in the best light because we're actually working together, and then we have differences and we disagree. But to appreciate one another for who we are and to actually understand that each and one of us is actually contributing to a common cause, and we're here to make each other awesome, to help us along the way, to be successful together, and to also make our clients awesome. I like it. The next one is deliver value continuously. So it's not just that we are here to make each other awesome and that we have a great time and feel wonderful about one another and ourselves individually, but we're here to deliver value continuously. And it's something to look at in a changing environment. How can we, maybe with limited resources or with, another one, is down ill at home, and we just have to figure out how we deal with this and how we can still deliver value. We do not constantly want to be in the emergency mode, but I think that's something that the pandemic told us, that we can surprise one another how well we can actually still function. So when we focus on delivering value and how to do that continuously in an ever-changing environment, that's another good one to focus on. Make safety a prerequisite. That's another one I really love. I don't know, I could not have written those better. Safety is important, that we kind of look at, that nobody is harmed and that no property is harmed either, that we do things the right way, that we utilize things and that we treat individuals in a way that they do not come to harm, that they are protected and even can prosper. And the last one, experiment and learn rapidly. And this is now where it is rounded, because the make safety a prerequisite makes total sense if you connect it to experiment and learn rapidly, because we shouldn't say, oh, we're just experimenting, this might explode, so maybe you want to take cover. We shouldn't be as blasé about it, I guess, So this is just an example, okay? These four connect very well with one another and are values that people can agree to and unite around. And to just have those in our head while we are working together could really improve things, I think. But you're possibly doing that already. So let's have a look at another one then. Another one that I really like, an image, is to look at the mission. And the tagline here is, what are we creating together? We have to agree on a picture. And once we have agreed to the picture, we can share the resources. And I really love this little video here because they're sharing pens and everybody is working on their bit peacefully next to one another. But it's not a problem because they are all seemingly happy and they have the skill and, they're creating something. And nobody is getting in the other person's way, but it will become a piece of art that they will probably hang somewhere. So I really like this. So the question is, if you do not agree, or not the question, but the point is, if you do not agree or if you do not have a common image, a common mission, then you cannot create together. You have to know what you're aiming for in your job, and you will have to derive that from the mission, from the purpose of the organization you work with or for, or even just looking at the submission then of the department. If you're the IT department, then how do you actually help the company to achieve their mission in creating, I don't know, state-of-the-art affordable housing? How do you, as the IT department, pay into that? Where are you in this picture, and which pens will you need to actually fill in the blanks? What are we creating together? What is my part? And how do we relate to one another in the process? And then lastly, collaborating in the WeQ dimension, or in the we dimension of WeQ, with the points of shared work-life balance and creative tools. In order to really be a we, and in order to collaborate around a common goal, we need to consider working hours. Who works when? And in very agile environments, it's no longer really needed that everybody works from 9 to 5. Some of us might be night owls, and for example, once again, if I'm in the IT department and I'm programming something or I'm setting up computers for other people, then I could do that at night, but sometimes we still need this overlap where when we actually need to talk with one another face to face, we can actually meet, and that might be still online, but we are working at the same time, at least for a few hours. But that can be arranged, can it not? Then we maybe want to consider personal circumstances. That has to do with, do we have family or not? How long is the commute? So once again, working hours might be affected by my commute if I have to be in the office to collaborate with you. And, I live in Stuttgart, as a friend of mine does, or I work in Stuttgart and I live somewhere outside. He said, I have to be in the office by 6 o'clock, otherwise I'm stuck in traffic. So, well, yeah, do that. I wouldn't want to be in your shoes. But that is for me part of personal circumstances. Then means of communication. How do we do this? Do we use WhatsApp or other, short messaging services? Do we use Zoom or Teams, or do we have whatever it might be? Do we still write each other letters and postcards, which is nice in these days, but maybe not the fastest? And then means of collaboration and other things. The means of collaboration maybe also has to do with the creative tools. And I really like a tool which is called Lean Coffee, which is a tool where you basically, you can Google it, it's simple. You maybe need half an hour or 3/4 of an hour to do that, and you can go back with some really interesting results. So you ask your team to come for a lean coffee. That means everybody brings a coffee or whatever they might want to drink. And what you need is an A4 sheet, and you create a Kanban, which is basically a table with 3 columns, and one is topics. Then the second one is, the second column is labeled in progress or in discussion, and then the next one is follow up or to do. So Google it, and everybody brings their topics. We decide which ones we want to work on together. There's a vote, and then we talk about the one with the highest votes for maybe 5 minutes, and then we decide, do we want to continue to talk about this? And if one person says, nah, let's move on to the next topic, then we move on to the next topic. But we have a really, really good, productive time together in doing that. So Google Lean Coffee, it's an excellent tool. You could also do open space. That is a bit more of, an issue, but it works in the same principle, but it's usually, you will probably at least need half a day to organize that. Once again, if you're not familiar with that tool, Google it. And once again, you could do this online or offline. So new times need new tools and resources. These are just some ideas in the we dimension. And then finally, recommendations for growth in all areas. And you can see a bit more here what I, you, it, we, they, and the planet, and of course also the values mean. And we already zoomed a bit more into values, possible values. The modern agile is not the only values, or are not the only values and attitudes that feed into WeQ. You can look at your existing values and develop them further. It can all be done, but I would just like to leave you with a few ideas of what I recommend for all these areas. And once again, you can take a picture once this movie is done, or just pause it now, and then you can look into this and Google a bit more. But these are just a few aspects that are really, really helpful, looking at certain aspects, and maybe spark a little bit of curiosity to go deeper and to benefit personally and as a team for better collaboration across the generations. Thanks for being part of this journey, and we might see you around. Bye for now.